It's almost Halloween, and over the years, my son has had the most epic costumes. We love Halloween, and I love to do fun costumes, especially when he got a little older. And he had some opinions about his costumes. That's where it really got fun. And sometimes we homemade them, sometimes we bought them, and sometimes we put them together, and it was amazing. This year he was Quint from Jaws. So for my 2 pages in the Boo-Yah layout, I'm going back to 2016. It's not our best work on costumes, but it sure was fun. He wanted to be Frankenstein. These are the perfect pictures to go with these fun Halloween colors. Seriously epic. Hi, I'm Donna Guest, Creative Memories Advisor and the Lazy Scrapbooker. This month, the Savvy Scrapbookers are taking on the Boo-Yah collection. Welcome to this month's edition of the Savvy Scrapbookers, and that's when my scrapbooking friends Nicole, Debbie Martin, and I divide up 1 paper pack and 1 sticker pack, and we create 6 pages for you. My idea this month, I love Halloween, so I just wanted to make a chaotic page, but when I started it, it was a little bit too much, so I toned it down for this layout. And it's easier for you to duplicate. But I may come back to that idea. So let's get started. Here are the materials that you'll need to create my pages. Now, because this paper is so busy, Nicole, Debbie, and I made the decision to add in some cardstock because, these patterns are super busy. I love them, but we knew it might be a little bit difficult to make the photos shine and keep the paper from overshadowing everything. So we made the decision to add in some cardstock. I'm going to use both of these pieces. These are the new colors called Terra Green, which goes pretty well with my Frankenstein, and Gravity Grape. But I'm also going to add in a scrap of white. I'm using the Shimmer white. You can use whatever white you need, and I'm sure you have some white cardstock lying around. Even the back of the paper pack label is fine. And here are all the stickers I chose from the collection. I've got everything that relates to trick-or-treating, and I've got some cat stuff here. Because if you've watched Debbie or Nicole's videos, you see that we have so much material here since we added cardstock that we're going to make a little bit of a bonus too. Here are the tools you'll need to make my pages. First, always your 12-inch trimmer, repositionable tape runner, and for this, that extra white cardstock, I'm going to be using the circle cutter. If you don't have that, you can use the Creative Memories custom cutting system to create your circle. And this is not required, but I really love having my 2 13 by 13 mats taped together on my surface because I get that nice ruler all the way around each page. Once you try it, you can't go back. First, we're going to take our scrap of white paper. I'm using white shimmer, and using this circle cutter, I've got it set to a 5-inch circle. That's a 5-inch diameter. And then I'm going to place, this is the center of the circle. Hold it there with my left hand, and with my dominant hand, which is my right hand, I'm going to pinch and push, and I've got a perfect circle every single time. Seriously, if you have not tried this tool, I highly urge you to get it. It's only $28.50. It's a great deal, and you get a perfect circle every time from 3 to 12 inches in diameter. So we're going to set that aside. I'll put it over here with my embellishments, which I have on my Advisor exclusive little embellishment tray where I've got all my circles. I'll put that in there with those. Keeps them on my table and keeps them from getting lost. Next, we're going to grab these 2 pieces of paper. They're super busy. I love them. We're going to use both sides. So you want to position these where they're upright. This one's kind of all over the place, doesn't really matter. But this one that's green with the cats and the witch hats, it needs to be going up and down like this. So I'm going to stack them together and do this at once to save time. We're going to cut a 3-inch border here. So we're going to put our cut at 3 inches for both pieces of paper at once. And you always want to make sure your trimmer is level too. Mine is kind of straddling this mat, but it cuts just fine. Then I'm going to make sure these are together, and I'm going to cut 1 inch off of them where they measure 3 by 11 inches tall. So this is what we're going to use to make that fun little chaotic border. So I'm going to hold these together because they need to match perfectly since we're going to be alternating the papers. So I've got them together perfectly. I'm going to make just 3 cuts. And first, now there is no strict measurement for this. You do it however you feel. But look how I'm going to put this at an angle, holding these together. You could clip these together with one of the multi-purpose clips if you liked to make sure you hold them together. Why don't we do that? Okay, but I'm still going to hold them. Paper clip would work too, but they tend to bend your paper a little bit. So we're going to cut just randomly like this. Okay. Then I'm going to switch direction and cut randomly like this. Then switch direction again. And I'm going to make this a pretty deep cut. Let's see. There we go. So it's just 3 cuts, and we're alternating the pieces like that. So they're only 11 inches tall, but what that's going to allow us to do is give a little bit of border in between them so that you've got that color popping through. So that's how they're going to go on our cardstock. All right, so now we're going to take our cardstock and we're going to cut these. It's almost 3.5. It's honestly somewhere between 3 1/4 and 3.5. So I'm going to cut this at 3 3/8 inches, cutting them both at once. I don't have to, but I'm gonna. Now I know they're the same. So that was 3 3/8 inches. So I'm going to put these large pieces aside. And then we're going to attach these to the smaller pieces before we do the welding where we attach this back together. All right, so I'm going to use my silicone mat here. If you have one, awesome. If you don't, you can use wax paper, parchment paper. And I'm just going to center this up here to where I have a slight, I always call it a fat 1/8. It's somewhere between an 1/8 and 1/4 inch around it. Before I attach them all though, I'm just going to kind of place it. You know, I'm really bad about just putting it on there so quickly. Look, that was perfect. It was perfect. All right, so I'm going to do this bottom one next. And when you're doing things that are triangular, you always want to put a little bit of repositionable tape off the edge there so that it doesn't peel up. Same with here. This is so cute. It's a little bit different than my original idea for chaotic Halloween pages. I'm still going to try those. It had much more of this to it, but I knew it would be kind of difficult to teach that, but maybe I'll do it yet. I did not want to do that to the Savvy Scrapbookers though, because our pages tend to be, you know, somewhat fast and easy. All right, so there's one border. I love that. Okay, so now we'll do the other one, and this one's going to be on the purple. So same thing here, like your tape runner, come off the edge. And by cutting the paper down to 11 inches, that's what's giving us the perfect room here between everything. And I was right to cut this at 3 3/8 inches width here because it's just the perfect width. All the borders look equal. Okay, those are so fun. And even if you're not doing the pages, that's a great border idea that you can do with any papers if you like these angles. And I may have to teach that in just a separate video as possibly a short, because those are fun. I may actually switch the order of these. I may put the purple in there and the green over here, because I kind of like the idea of purple being over here, because my pictures over here, green are during the daytime and the purple are during nighttime. So it just kind of makes sense to me. Doesn't really matter. But now I'm going to cut some mats for these photos, and I'm going to do a wide mat because I usually like a narrow margin around my photos. So I tend to cut a 4 1/4 by a 6 1/4 to give me a 1/8 inch mat. But these papers are fun and pretty, and I want more of it to show. So we're going to have a 1/4 inch around. That means I need to go to 6 1/2 here. So I'm going to cut, I've got the paper horizontal here, all the way across. I'm going to cut 6 1/2, put this aside, and let's do the same thing over here. I could have done these at the same time. And now we're going to get 2 mats out of each one of these. We're going to go at 4 1/2. Let's just cut these at the same time. And look, because it was 9 inches wide, it's just perfect. That was no accident. Okay, now I've got to put these together. If you were doing this directly on a traditional Creative Memory scrapbook page, you can attach them directly on the page and there's no welding needed. But if you're not sure when you're using these pages, or if you like to use the slide in top loading pocket pages, then we're gonna need to weld. So we need 2 1-inch strips, 1 inch by 12 inch strips of paper. You can use scrap paper, or we can use some from these ghosts because we do have plenty left, and I'm gonna use this for the bonus, but we've got enough left. So I'm just gonna cut off 2 1-inch strips, but do cut them horizontally like this, because we're going to use these for our bonus like that. So cut off 1 inch and 1 inch. Then you don't have to really go into your stash of scraps, which I know you have, but this will be easy. Set this aside, and now we're going to weld. So I've got my wonderful photo mats here that, as you can see, the green goes in the purple goes in the green, so it's gonna look really nice. We'll put those aside. And to weld, we're gonna flip everything like this, like you're flipping a pancake almost, but grab it from the bottom, flip it over like this. The reason why I say that is so that you keep the direction there. Now I like to weld one way, but I'm gonna show you both ways just to see what you prefer. So for this, I'm actually going to use the regular tape runner. That's the one with the clear cartridge here. Okay, and let's put tape runner all the way down this one, a generous supply of it. All right, and with these pieces held together evenly, you can just attach the strip like this, like it's tape. It works like tape, all right? But because it's paper on the other side, better than photo tape because it's not gonna stick to anything. Perfect? Perfect. Oh, let me make sure I attach a little bit more there. It wasn't perfect. Now it is. Okay, it's so smooth, you cannot even feel where they're attached. Okay, the other way to do this, I like a little better. For me, it just works. There's less chance of error. I don't know why I show you both ways, but I do. So holding them together, I'm putting tape runner, I'm attaching it here, right down the line. All right, so it's done. All I need to do now is just put this strip of scrap paper that's 12 inches long over that so that it covers the sticky. And again, we've got a smooth surface. Welding is so easy. It sounds more complicated than it is, but we've got two perfect pieces of paper there. Now, if you do pocket pages, it's kind of a mess on the other side and you really wouldn't be able to use that unless you got very creative and made sure you had just the right strip here. Some people like to scrapbook on both sides to keep the weight down and to save paper. All right, so now we're ready to attach some of our goodies here. So I've got my photos here, and there's a couple of photos that I want to fussy cut, and here's why. So fussy cutting, for me, it gives you more room for things around it on the page, but it also can give a good look to the page. It really pops the photo out. But the main reason I'm doing this is because I don't like the background of this picture. It looks like it's in some room or an office or whatever. It's just not very fun. I really don't know where he was right there. But these on the porch with our beautiful wreath in the background and the stone, those look great. Okay, and over here, that looks great with the candy and then a close-up of all that candy, yum. And then this one, I might fussy cut. It's in our kitchen, so it's really okay. It was the next day where I used part of that costume for a injury day at school, I think it was called. Oh, that sounds weird, doesn't it? So for fussy cutting, you want to use your Microtip scissors, and here they are, securely nested on the back of the new photo trimmer. If you haven't seen this, oh my gosh, it is so wonderful. You get this bed that's 6.5 inches wide. I'm not going to need it for these because I'm not cropping my photos, but it is wonderful. Just be careful. This is super sharp, so always put the handle down, and for goodness sake, never grab it by the handle. And I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut. So I won't make you watch me do all of this, but that's where I'm just cutting right all the way around it. You know, there is something that's kind of fun and satisfying this. It's like when you're a kid, if you ever did paper dolls. I don't know that I did those a lot, but it's very fun. Oh, I just had a fussy cut mishap. I actually cut one of the bolts off of his neck. So, you know, I'm just going to cut that back out and attach it. I can't believe I did that. We'll fix that. So I'll throw this away. So next I'm going to go ahead and mount my photos onto the photo mat so I can worry about placement. And again, you can do whatever number of photos or size photos you want. The smaller they are, if you crop them down, you'll be able to get more on the page. And of course, you can let some come over into this fun border over here. I'm going to try not to. I don't have as many pictures of this as you saw in that 8x8 album I showed in the beginning of this video. I did the highlights in an 8x8 album, but I never went back and scrapbooked, you know, all the pictures from this Halloween. So I just have 6 photos. Usually I skip over the placement with you guys and I don't make you wait on me for that, but you know, I'm kind of gonna see what we have here. I may fussy cut that one. I think I will, and then it will kind of match over here. So when you do fussy cut, I like to put it all the way down at the edge so it's just not hanging out in the middle right there. I don't like that. But right here, I've got a straight edge here and here, so I'm going to put those over next to the border. I'm gonna go ahead and attach that. I feel pretty good about that one. But I am going to use repositionable tape just in case. And now I can fix the mishap that I had. You know I like to make mistakes. So for that, we're going to find, there it is, the bolt. I almost lost the bolt. You knew that was going to happen, I bet, just from looking at the state of this table. It's so messy. So I'm going to use my silicone mat, and we're going to put a healthy dose of repositionable on that. Use my multi-tool to put that in place a little more easily. All right, perfect. So you can see I fixed that. No one will ever know, except for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut this one too. Okay, my mat keeps sticking to my table. So I was thinking I had repositionable tape on it, but no, I've got a foam square stuck to my mat. Now that is a situation, but the multi-tool can fix anything. So my idea for this was having the moon as part of this because it is nighttime, it's Halloween. I think that will look pretty cool right there, and we'll just cut that edge off. So I'm just gonna put tape across the bottom part of this moon, and we'll stick it here with some of it coming off, and some of it's gonna be behind the photo, some of it's gonna overlap our fun border, and I'm totally okay with that. So now to trim that off, we get our trimmer back out and just flip this over, and you know I love this part, it's very satisfying. So we're gonna line up with that left line there, that 4, wherever your number is, that's your cutting line. So we're gonna line the top of the page up with that all the way down and just trim off the rest of that. And so he's gonna overlap this border over here a little bit, not so much over here. I think I like my placement there. I'm going to kind of play around with the stickers before I attach everything. So I'll get that done and be right back. I've attached these photos, trying to get about 1/8 of an inch border in the purple behind that. And then it leaves me room for this more candy sticker down here. That looks so yummy. Then I've attached the fussy cut head injury here. It was fake head injury day, that's what it was. I'm going to get my write-on stickers and put that just right here over his shirt, and I think that will be fine. Because now I want to do a little cluster here for trick or treat. So we're going to put the trick or treat right here, and I've got the little pumpkin that holds candy. That's either a cake pop or a lollipop, I'm not sure. Both are good. And then maybe some of these little stars that I grabbed from the collection. And then we're gonna come over here and work over here, and I've left enough for this sticker cluster over here, and I have some more from the extras that I'm saving for my bonus page that I can use there as well, because I think I might like this with an extra star here. All right, that's a respectable cluster. I like that. I'm leaving the moon open. I know I could journal there, I could put a title there. I'm just gonna leave it open because it's so bright, it just looks like it's the moon to me. So I'll do the same thing over here, putting this down, maybe a little bit more of a margin. I've got about 1/4 inch on this one and 1/4 inch on that one, so that kind of worked out. These were a little closer so that I could fit that sticker in, but I kind of like that they're slightly different. And right here, we'll put the sticker cluster that says October 31st. These are holographic stickers, so they have a little bit of a shimmer to them. They're not glow in the dark, but they are quite sparkly. I don't know why that we'd ever need glow in the dark stickers for a scrapbook though. You're never gonna be looking at a scrapbook in the dark. All right, so that's cute right there. And then I may add this best costume sticker. Ironically, it was not our best work. It was a good costume, but he sweated that green makeup off pretty quickly. But I was really proud of the suit because I don't sew, but I do have a sewing machine. I wanted it for when I needed it for Halloween costumes. So at Goodwill, we found a suit that was much too big for him. And of course, I just sewed it up short and sewed the sleeves up short. It's pretty good. All right, now I'll add my journaling right here and maybe a little journaling up here. I'm gonna use this purple dual tip pen, and I'm using the college rule, I call it, the thin rule of this write-on sticker sheet. I love these. So I have one line here. I'm not gonna put it all like that though. I'm going to cut it down to exactly what I need. So I'll put the date right here. And I've got fake injury day at school, and I'm gonna cut that into 2 lines. That works. I didn't have a lot of room to journal, so that works right there. And it kind of makes this picture stand alone because it is the next day. So for this journaling, I just put Lil Frank, that's what we called him, Lil Frank, trick-or-treating fun. And there we are. I wanted chaotic Halloween. I kind of have it. I like it. It's colorful, it's fun, and I'm using some of the papers there. So we've got all this left because I use so much cardstock, but we're gonna make a bonus page. This is gonna be the base of our page. I absolutely love the star paper. These stripes are really pretty too, but I'm gonna use the stars because I wanna use these little ghosts versus this. I'm gonna use the ghost, and I think they really obviously look better against those than they do against that. So just for this one bonus page, we're gonna have 2 borders, one at the top, one at the bottom, tying it all together with these little pumpkins. So I kind of wanna cut this where I've got, you know, complete ghosts. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to take up too much space, but maybe we just cut this where we've got 2 rows of ghosts, and we definitely have enough paper to do that. So I'm going to cut right in between these ghosts right here. I'd already cut some off for our strips for our welding. So we can use our sight line to see where am I cutting these ghosts, kind of across the little heads there. That's okay. All right, so we basically got 2 rows of ghosts. We'll do the same thing over here and a little bit to spare. Then we've got these fun papers here. So which one do we want to use? I think this is going to look better against this. So we're going to have some little strips hanging down. There goes my chaotic Halloween again. So I'm going to cut these just under 1/2 inch. Just several little strips. Doesn't matter if they're different or the same. We're just going for something fun here. So the idea here is to have a border on the bottom and the top, and these little sticks almost, or little strands here, I'm going to kind of put at different lengths here and kind of crooked. Now, if you want more room for your photos, you can cut these and have 4 borders. And then, you know, you might can switch this out into some kind of double page spread. But I'm going to go ahead and do that because I want more room for my photos. And here's how you can work that, depending on what you have. So if you have a vertical photo with a double ghost, it fits in here very nicely. Maybe 2 vertical photos would look really good. I have 3 photos that I'm going to put. And oh, I need to trim this off with a personal trimmer. If you get photos like a digital size from Creative Memories, they do have the white border there. So I'm going to trim that off really quickly. So if I have 2 horizontal, I need a little more room. So I may have to cut these ghosts down and just do the single ghost. I think I'm going to do that. So you can do it either way to make it right for the photos that you have. So this ghost is going in half. I'm just going to use these. I'll save this one for something else. So first, I'm going to use my repositionable tape runner, and let's get some adhesive on the back of these fun little green pieces. Again, it's chaotic Halloween. Looks a bit crazy. Then I can trim these off. You can do it with your trimmer, or you can just do it with your scissors because it's just a little tiny bit here. And then we'll put these little ghosts, my single row of ghosts that I've decided on based on the pictures that I have. Every side of this Boo-Yah paper is cute. It's honestly just hard to decide what to use. So we're going to tie these up with a nice pumpkin border. How cute is that? So we have pumpkins and ghosts, and we'll do the same thing here. I'm going to try not to cover it too much because I don't want to cover up the little heads. Now that makes my room here a little bit smaller, which is okay, but I want to give it enough room for my photo. So I'm going to trim my photo down a little bit with this wonderful photo trimmer. So now that gave me enough room in between so that I could see the purple coming through. I like that. Let's get the rest of these stickers. I don't know if I'll use them all, but here we go. I used all but a couple of the stickers. I have basically 2 clusters here, one that says so sweet and one that says so cute it's scary. And now my sweet little Nicholas has his own Halloween page. I hope you enjoy doing all these layouts. Now check out Debbie and Nicole's videos. You'll find the link to their videos in the description of this video. Thanks for watching and happy Halloween.